Welcome back to The Hub today. So it's no secret that music star Taylor Swift is building quite the legacy. Her influence and reach know no bounds, and there's no telling where it might go next. Hot off an epic tour, a new docuseries on NBC and Peacock is highlighting that journey.
That's right. And I recently spoke to Jasmeet Sidhu, a photographer who has worked with Taylor in over 3 tours, including the most recent one, the Eras Tour. One of the first things we wanted to know, though, was how do you prepare for a tour like that?
A lot of people record the tour or do TikTok live streams. So by the time I got to my concert that I was going to be photographing, which was the Santa Clara, California concert, you could pretty much watch the entire tour online. So that's what I did. And I was able to study and watch her movements. She's very well choreographed. So you can almost predict, which side of the stage she'll be on for which lyric. So after studying her movements, that's how I prepared. So when I came in, I kind of knew where to angle my lens.
That being said, how would you say your style of shooting has evolved over the years, especially when you said, like you said, you're able to predict how someone moves in live moments?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started doing this, I was still very much an amateur, but, Taylor Swift is so easy to photograph. Her stages are so well lit. She definitely poses a lot to give photographers an opportunity to capture an image. And then obviously at the Eras Tour, 10 years later, I definitely have a lot more experience under my belt, and the advantages of watching the tour ahead of time online definitely helped.
Do you have a favorite look or performance that you like to shoot specifically?
Yeah, I mean, on the Eras Tour, she opens up with the lover set in this very gorgeous, beautiful, bejeweled, beaded bodysuit. And, when I blew up my pictures large to be able to look at those photographs, you could just see the incredible detail of her outfits. And I think it's just such a bright and colorful look, and I love it.
So one of the popular trends we've seen online is the trading of bracelets while on tour. Have you gotten a chance to trade bracelets?
Yeah, now I wish I had brought my bracelets to show on camera.
I should have prepped you.
Yeah. What's really fun is even when you're working as a photographer, a lot of the fans will still come up to you and exchange bracelets. And just for an additional context, before I started doing all of this, I was and still am a fan myself. I've been a fan since I was personally a teenager, when Taylor Swift was a teenager putting out music. So it's something that I get to enjoy doing as well.
What would you say is the biggest lesson, whether professionally or personal, that you've learned from Taylor?
I think just being extremely strategic in your career moves. I think she taught me, having been a fan and, obviously having worked kind of parallel beside her in my creative work, what I've noticed and learned is that she's incredibly strategic and ambitious in what she wants to do. I'm sure she has like a calendar schedule for like the next 2 to 3 years of when she's wanting to put out her next albums and her tours and sort of the media marketing she wants to do around that. And I think just like as a woman who's also, a creative, independent professional, I think about myself in the same way, obviously at a much smaller scale than Taylor Swift, but like looking at my calendar and planning things and leveraging it to the maximum impact.
What a cool experience.
Yeah.
I mean, and those photographs are
stunning.
Incredible.
To her point of being able to just predict where you need to snap. It's an art. It really is an art.
And hard to do when there's so much choreography. Like, I know that it's choreographed so that you can obviously plan a little bit, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and also when they're moving, like, it's easy to just get ugly shots of people while they're in action. So
That's true.
She did a really good job.
Can we also talk about Taylor this weekend?
And her new bestie?
I fangirling hard over here.
It was a joy to see them. They were in the suite together. Obviously, you may know that she's dating Travis Kelce of the Chiefs.
How could you forget?
No, I didn't forget. I would never forget. It's been everywhere in the news. But it's interesting to see that relationship. You said you knew a little bit more about
Caitlin Clark, people were saying she's a bandwagon fan trying to, jump on the coattails, whatever. But she's actually been a Chiefs fan her whole life. Her dad apparently is a big fan, and she grew up watching it. And as Nico said to us just before, she's a big sports fan.
Yeah,
she can talk the game.
Jason Kelce's show, the way she was talking about football, like, this girl knows her stuff. Like,
she does her homework.
Yeah, she knows.
She does her homework.
I want to hear her talk about sports more.
I know. I love this budding relationship. I love this budding relationship.
Right. So you can actually catch more of Jasmeet and learn more about the impact of Taylor overall. You can check out an all-new episode of The Swift Effect. They will be airing after SNL on NBC and Peacock.